Hello, everybody. This is the mental health and wellness peer educators, and today we're talking about sleep. My name's Dale, and this is Tyler.
Oh,
And since it is midterm season and we're also going into spring break, now would be a really great time to practice some sleep hygiene and up your sleep wellness.
yeah, be pretty helpful. Your overall health and well-being and whatnot. So, exactly what is sleep hygiene? Well, sleep hygiene is basically a combination of a sleeping habitat and set of rituals that increase your overall quality of sleep. And that can take many different forms, and there might be different types of sleep hygiene that might be more beneficial to certain people depending on your lifestyle and whatever. But anyway, some types of sleep hygiene include having a consistent sleeping schedule, having an idealistically targeted sleeping environment, and a beneficial pre-sleep regimen, as well as sleep-driven behaviors, like behaviors that will help you prepare yourself, your mind and body for sleep when that time comes. And like I said, it can be different and take different forms depending on how your life is set up. And things can be kind of chaotic. So whatever methods and regimens you find most useful will probably be what you're going to end up using for your own sleep hygiene. And here are some techniques that you can use for making your sleep hygiene, I guess, more streamlined or more beneficial to you. So you might consider possibly making your sleeping environment, very sleep driven and focused, like don't have a lot of distractions or other things that would keep you away from the process of sleeping. So maybe minimize the amount of light you have in your sleeping environment. And also like keeping to a strict time or scheduled regimen where you have your sleeping time being consistent and your every day, every night, I guess, depending on when you sleep, pre-sleep rituals that you go about and making them consistent so they become a habit, and then doing whatever helps you sleep in the highest quality possible by having your overall activities and behaviors you engage in throughout the day coincide with that, like, and also not consuming too much caffeine or very late in the day, so that like kind of messes up your circadian rhythms and whatever and makes you less likely to fall asleep. So, and for example, you might try these types of things in terms of increasing your overall sleep hygiene. So, for what you sleep on, like your mattress, if you have a mattress that you find very hard to get comfortable in and fall asleep on, then you might want to try to potentially find one that suits your body best. If it's within your budget or whatever, and you want a mattress that's going to help you fall asleep quickly and also not have you wake up a bunch of times in the middle of the night, because interrupted sleep is not very good. It's not going to give you that overall quality level of sleep you need to go through all the different stages of sleep and sequence that you might need in order to have your uh, sleep hygiene be or your sleep wellness, I should say, be of, I guess, higher quality. I don't know, or it's over. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have better sleep hygiene.
Yeah, just have better sleep hygiene. Well, wait, you skipped some stuff here.
So,
Yeah, there's other things here. Uh, so like having certain oils or candles or whatever in your room that like with lavender can sort of, I guess, help your sleeping environment be more likely to have you be calmer and fall asleep easier. And of course, don't just have sleep be an afterthought. Like it's something your body needs and you need it to live. So it's really important that you schedule sleep and make sure you actually do it. I know there's a lot of other priorities and things you need to do as well, but sleep should definitely be one of them. So make sure you set aside enough time for your sleep, of course. And again, having less light that you're being exposed to, especially like right before you're trying to sleep, is better because light makes your mind and body more alert, and you need to do the opposite of that in order to prepare yourself for sleeping. So try, if you can, to limit the amount of screen time you have, especially when it's getting close to the time you're going to go to sleep, or try to anyway. So also for your bed specifically, it may be beneficial for you to not just do anything in your bed, but just those things that your bed is designed for, including sleep, and just, make sure that you don't, associate your bed with anything that's like going to not be focused on, sleeping or whatever. And also like exposing yourself to the sunlight, going outside very early in the morning, that can kind of help have your circadian rhythms be more in sync, I guess, as well, which might help you keep a more consistent sleeping and waking schedule.
Okay, so I'm breaking down sleep issues by mild, moderate, severe. So mild, if you're just, you want to have better sleep, especially around midterms, you want to catch up on some sleep over spring break. This is the slide for you. So what Tyler was talking about, those are all great ideas. You can also relax and do some stretching or meditation. That's what Headspace and Calm are for. They're both apps that help with guided meditation. Like Tyler said, a caffeine cutoff, but also some people swear by a food cutoff at some point because eating right before they go to sleep, it keeps them from sleeping. Prioritizing sleep over study. If you're going to pull an all-nighter, you need to sleep at some point, which is kind of counter. It seems like counterintuitive, but when you sleep, you're processing the information that you were studying, and you'll be able to recall it later easier. So staying up all night and then going in for the exam the next morning is actually worse than if you just studied for a little bit and then went to sleep and then just cut your losses with everything else. Also having separate work and sleep areas, like Tyler said, or even just like if you have to study in your bed, making your bed, pulling up the covers, not getting into bed to study. And then more light in the day. And then also that cold is better for sleeping. The colder temperatures have been shown to increase the quality of sleep. And I know for me, it definitely works because I cannot sleep if I'm overheating. The third app that's on here is called Flux. That's this little sunrise, I think. But it will take your devices and it will get rid of blue light, which blue light can be really detrimental to sleep. And so a lot of different electronics, they have night mode now, but if your electronic, like your phone or your laptop or whatever, doesn't have a light mode and you like to read on it at night, then you can download Flux and it will get rid of the blue light and keep everything nice and mellow for you before you sleep. So now moderate sleep issues. This is starting to get into more of an insomnia type of thing. This is, I can't fall asleep and I don't know what to do. First, consider a CAPS counselor. Depending on what it is that's causing your sleep issues, it may be anxiety related, and in which case, CAPS can definitely help you. If it is a medical issue, they will refer you to the right people. The next slide is on that. But this is more of like, okay, I don't really want to go in to go see a counselor yet, but things aren't going so great. So the first thing is that a lot of sleep experts recommend that you should fall asleep within 20 minutes or you need to get out of bed and walk around. This is again like the reason why you don't study in bed, because you're associating your bed with not sleeping if you're just sitting there and lying awake all night. Limiting your sleep hours, which also seems counterintuitive, but because of the way that your sleep cycles, sometimes you may be getting too much sleep. and it's throwing off your cycle. So for instance, for a really long time, I was going to bed at like 9 p.m. because I'm a morning person. That didn't actually turn out very well because it meant that I was waking up at 4 a.m. and then had to go back to sleep. So now I go to sleep at 11 p.m. and I wake up at like 8 a.m. like normal. Same thing with no more naps. Because of the way your sleep waking cycle, sometimes naps can interrupt that. So trying to push through that can sometimes be helpful. Some people say that instead of taking naps that are unlimited, taking a 30 to 1 hour nap can be more helpful because it does still preserve your sleep wake cycle. More activity in the day, just like with light, activity during the day can sort of help you sort of balance your circadian rhythm when you go to sleep and when you wake up. Your body knows that you're awake and you're doing physical activity. And so then at night, it will be more likely to sleep. Another thing is tracking sleep. That is this app right here, which is an app that I use to track sleep. These apps, they are supposed to show when you enter different stages of sleep, but that's not really what they're used for because that's not super accurate. But instead, I use it to check when I wake up and when I go to sleep, so that I know at when I like wake up during the night or at what hour I go to sleep and what hour I wake up. So that might be helpful in sort of establishing a more consistent sleep cycle. Another thing is trying a sunrise alarm, especially in the winter in Michigan. The sun sort of signals you to wake up, and during these winter months, the sun doesn't come up until like 8 a.m. And if you have you have to be up at 6 a.m., that's not very helpful. So getting a sunrise alarm could be helpful for you. Also, white noise or music. For a while, I was looking up like old kids' TV on YouTube, and that's what I use to fall asleep. But some people are completely against this and they do not like white noise or any sound whatsoever when they go to sleep. That's totally fine. It's completely personal to you. CBT for sleep there's a lot of research on cognitive behavioral therapy for sleep. One of the things that we offer at CAPS is Silver Cloud, which is this one, which is an app that's all about CBT, and they do have a regimen for sleep. But if you don't want to do all that, there is the simple of thought stopping, which when you're laying in bed at night and you're thinking, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, stop that thought and instead switch it to, I will go to sleep. I have 3 to 4 hours before I actually have to wake up. There's no way that I won't fall asleep within that time. And then lastly, upgrading or updating your sleeping space, like Tyler mentioned, which isn't always an option for people, but even just like getting a new blanket or washing your bed sheets and things like that can be a good update that it can help you in the long run. So now severe sleep issues. So this is when you need to talk to a physician or a CAPS counselor. But before you do that, a lot of people don't know when their sleep issues have become a significant problem. And it's also kind of helpful to identify what exactly is causing you to lose sleep. Is it stress? Is it because you're pulling all-nighters studying all the time? Is it nightmares? Really honing in on what the issue is before you talk to a CAPS counselor or physician, because CAPS, while they can help you with the psychological aspect, there are some sleep disorders that are physiologically based, and so that can kind of be hard to piece out. One thing that you can do if you're concerned about the lack of sleep that you're getting, especially if you're tired during the day, you can look up the fatigue severity scale and the Epworth sleep scale. And these are just sort of checklists of your feelings of fatigue or your feelings of sleep during the day. and at what point that fatigue level gets to be a concerning level. Other concerning symptoms are nightmares more than 2 to 3 times a week. This is definitely a time to talk to a CAPS counselor. Nightmares are highly associated with PTSD and trauma. And so if you're experiencing PTSD and trauma and you're having nightmares more than 2 to 3 times a week, there is help for you, and you can speak to a CAPS counselor about that. Sort of in the same vein, frequent sleep paralysis. This can be sort of a psychological cause, but it can also be a physiological cause, like snoring. Snoring is actually not normal, and if you're consistently snoring, it might be worth it to see a physician, especially if you're consistently snoring and then waking up and feeling horribly tired. Waking up still feeling tired, and then also waking up with headaches. Headache can also be a sign of sleep apnea, which is when you stop breathing when you're asleep. Another thing that's very interesting is that shifts in hormones can also cause insomnia. If you're on testosterone, if you're transmasc, that can cause, and if that's coinciding with your insomnia, talk to your doctor because that can sometimes interrupt your sleep, as well as going through menopause if you're one of our non-traditional students and you're going through menopause. But if you're too anxious to sleep, you're having nightmares, or you're having night terrors, that is a CAPS issue, and CAPS can help you.
So just to sum up a few of the things that were mentioned, if make sure you're exposed to light during the day and have less light exposure at night, your circadian rhythms overall will be, better in sync, and your sleeping schedule might be a bit more consistent. So it might be a bit easier for you to fall asleep when you're tired and want to sleep, of course. So also, of course, that going with that, having that consistent sleeping schedule, going to sleep, around the same time every day, will help even more with your circadian rhythms, having it more easy for you to fall asleep at the time you want to, and it won't be as difficult. Like, you might not be laying in bed trying to fall asleep. If you're not having any significant sleep disorders of anything like that, then it should be, somewhat easier for you to fall asleep consistently at the same time every night. And again, limiting your caffeine consumption and also alcohol, because that can kind of like mess with things too. Like, alcohol might make you feel a bit sleepier, but it actually will decrease the overall quality of sleep if you consume enough of it. So it's just important to keep in mind, like with certain substances, just to limit, how much you consume. So it'll help you keep that consistent sleep schedule. Yeah. Also, oh, is there anything else? Yeah, again, like when you're planning on going to sleep, getting into that routine that you do your nightly ritual that you do every night, that will help you prepare your mind and body for sleep, because you know that what you're doing is leading up to you going to bed and sleeping. So making sure that that is consistent as well, along with everything else. The consistency will become habitual and make it much easier for you to fall asleep, because comes a lot more naturally to you at that point. So it just makes your overall quality of sleep better, with all these things, along with sleep hygiene and anything else that may help with your overall sleep wellness. So hopefully you'll find these tips and information helpful, and hopefully that'll increase your overall level of sleep hygiene, sleep wellness. So I hope that you will enjoy higher energy from continuous high quality sleep by using these habits, and hopefully they become part of your daily nightly routine. And we hope that you will take care and have a nice and safe break, and hope you sleep better during that time.
Also, just to note, CAPS is open during break. If you're thinking about reaching out because of this presentation, Our 24-hour hotline is always available during breaks. And we are still open this week in person, and you can always send us an email as well. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.